The news arrived on Earth with the cold efficiency that characterized all Durrani communications. Ambassador Elena Ross was dead, an unfortunate incident during diplomatic negotiations on the Durrani capital world. The message claimed a respiratory failure, natural causes. The Galactic Council expressed their deepest regrets. James Ross knew better. He stood motionless before the holographic projection of his mother's official portrait. Elena's eyes, his eyes, stared back with the quiet determination that had made her Earth's foremost diplomat to the stars. For 15 years, she had represented humanity to a galaxy that viewed them as little more than clever animals who had stumbled upon faster-than-light travel. "That are lying," he whispered to the empty apartment. "The Durrani don't take failure well." His mother had been pushing back against the new resource extraction treaties. The Galactic Council, dominated by the ancient Durrani Empire, had been systematically stripping Earth's colonies of valuable minerals. Officially, it was payment for humanity's protection and technological advancement. Unofficially, it was exploitation backed by overwhelming military superiority. The Durrani had ruled for 10,000 years. They didn't negotiate with equals. They dictated terms to servants. 3 days after the news, James resigned his position at the Interstellar Defense Academy. His instructors were baffled. He had been on track to become one of humanity's finest military strategists, but they didn't know what he knew. Elena Ross had been genetically enhanced during the Resource Wars, part of a classified program to create diplomats with perfect recall and preternatural empathy. Those enhancements had passed to her son, along with something unexpected, a eidetic memory that absorbed and synthesized information at an unprecedented rate. For years, James had devoured his mother's classified briefings, diplomatic reports, and strategic assessments of alien civilizations. He had memorized Durrani military doctrines, the vulnerabilities in their planetary defense networks, and the hierarchical weakness in their command structure. Knowledge intended to protect humanity would now serve a different purpose. The Durrani underestimated humans. They saw them as short-lived creatures without the patience for long-term planning. It couldn't comprehend the power of human grief, the driving force of vengeance. James began with the trade ships. The Durrani's empire depended on a complex network of commerce. Using his mother's diplomatic codes, he infiltrated their shipping protocols and introduced microscopic flaws into their navigational systems. Nothing catastrophic, just enough to cause delays, minor collisions, and growing frustration among the Durrani merchant class. Next came the communication networks. The Durrani nobility communicated through quantum-entangled channels they believed unbreakable. But Elena had discovered a pattern in their encryption, and James exploited it ruthlessly. False orders spread through military outposts. Resource shipments were redirected. Planetary governors received contradictory directives from their superiors. He operated from the shadows, moving between human frontier colonies where Durrani oversight was minimal. He recruited others, those who had lost loved ones to Durrani justice, or who saw through the facade of benevolent guidance from the stars. The Durrani believe in their supremacy like it's a law of physics, he told his growing network of resistors. That's their weakness. They can't imagine a universe where they don't rule. On the anniversary of his mother's death, James initiated the final phase of his plan. The Durrani High Council was gathering on their throne world to address the mysterious failures plaguing their empire. Every major leader would be present to demonstrate unity and resolve. Unknown to them, James had spent months infiltrating the personal security devices of council members. The quantum shields protecting them from assassination had been compromised through their most trusted aides. Not with violence, James was not a killer, but with truth. As the council convened, every information screen on the throne world activated simultaneously. On them played the complete, unaltered recording of Elena Ross's final meeting with the Durrani leadership. There was no respiratory failure. There was only the High Commander, ordering her execution after she presented evidence of Durrani violations of their own sacred laws. James had planted similar evidence in the private files of each council member, implicating them in crimes against not just humanity, but dozens of other subjugated species. As planetary populations across the Empire witnessed the corruption at the heart of Durrani rule, Rebellions ignited like stars going nova. The Durrani military, fragmented by months of conflicting orders and uncertain who to trust, hesitated to respond with their typical overwhelming force. Subject worlds declared independence. Ancient allies distanced themselves. James watched from an observatory on Luma as reports flooded in of the Empire's rapid disintegration. He felt no joy, only a hollow satisfaction that his mother's work would continue in an unexpected way. They thought killing one human diplomat would silence us, he said to his mother's image projected beside him. They never understood that humans don't forget, and we never stop fighting for those we've lost. Within one standard galactic year, the 10,000-year Durrani Empire collapsed not from external conquest, but from internal rot exposed at precisely the right moment by one human's methodical vengeance. The new Galactic Council that emerged included representatives from Earth on equal footing with other worlds, and in the Great Hall where they gathered, a simple plaque commemorated the diplomat whose death had ultimately freed not just humanity, but countless species from tyranny. The Durrani had taken a diplomat's life, but in doing so, they had unleashed her son's most dangerous weapon, the truth.